Welcome to this video on variables and types. After watching this video, you'll be able to describe the significance of using variables and data types in Dart, explain the different data types, and describe the significance of null, type inference, and annotations. In programming, variables and data types are fundamental concepts that form the backbone of any code. Variables act as placeholders for storing data, while data types specify the kind of data a variable can hold, such as numbers or text. Understanding these basic concepts is essential for writing efficient and effective Dart code, which will help Dart developers build robust and effective applications. Variables act as containers to hold data that can change over time. There are two main steps to using a variable. First, you need to declare the variable with a name, and second, you need to set a value for it. Here are the examples to help you understand these two steps. In Dart, you can declare variables using keywords var, const, or final. Each keyword serves a purpose. Var declares a variable without specifying its type explicitly. The type of variable is inferred based on the assigned value. You can reassign a variable to another value of the same kind. Const declares compile time constants. The value of a const variable is determined at compile time and you cannot change it at runtime. And final declares a variable that can only be set once. Once assigned, you cannot change the value of the final variable. However, unlike const, you can set final variables at runtime. Let's understand with an example. In this code snippet, the name can be changed later, but age and pi cannot be reassigned once they are set. If you try reassigning the const pi variable, it will display an error from VS Code IDE. Having learned about variables, let's understand data types in Dart. Dart is a statically typed language, which means every variable must have a data type. Common data types include numbers, strings, Booleans, lists, and maps. Let's explore each type with examples. The first data type is numbers. There are two types of numbers in Dart, int for integers and double for floating point numbers. Let's understand this by using a code snippet. Here, age is an integer and height is a floating point number. The following data type is strings, which represent a sequence of characters. You can use single or double quotes. Here is a code snippet illustrating string data. String interpolation is a powerful feature in Dart that allows you to include variables or expressions inside a string. Instead of concatenating strings using the plus operator, you can use the $ symbol to embed variables directly within the string. You should see a code snippet. Note the variable name is prefixed with a $ symbol to include a variable in a string. Another data type in Dart is Booleans, representing true or false values. You can use Booleans in control flow statements such as if and while. This code snippet illustrates the use of Booleans. The following data type is lists, which are ordered collections of items. Dart lists are zero-based, meaning the first element is at index 0. Let's look at an example to understand the feature of lists. Lists contain a set of objects, such as fruits. In this example, the list includes 3 elements: apple, banana, and cherry. Here, the lists in Dart are ordered collections, so the order of elements is maintained. Lists in Dart are zero-based indexing, which means the indexing starts from 0. In other words, the first element is at index 0, the second is at index 1, and so on. In the displayed list, apple is at index 0, banana is at index 1, and cherry is at index 2. Finally, lists also allow accessing elements from the list. To access an element in the list, you use its index. In this example, fruits 0, syntax accesses the list's first element apple. Therefore, the print command outputs apple to the console. You can add elements to a list using the add method if needed. For example, this code snippet will add orange at the end of the fruits list. Maps, another data type in Dart, are collections of key-value pairs. Each key in a map is unique and associated with a value. Maps are especially useful when looking up values based on unique keys. Here's an example to understand how to use maps. As observed, you first declare a map named scores, which contains key-value pairs where keys are the type of string and values are the type of int. In the given map, Alice, Bob, and Charlie are keys, and 90, 85, and 95 are their respective values. Next, you use the corresponding key to access a value in the map. In the map, scores Alice accesses the value associated with the key Alice, which is 90. Therefore, the print command outputs 90 to the console. Further, you can add new key-value pairs using the square bracket notation if needed. For example, the code snippet displayed will add a new key-value pair, Dave88, to the scores map. By understanding how to use maps, you can manage collections of related data efficiently. Having learned about the standard data types in Dart, let's understand the significance of null, which represents an absence of a value. In Dart, variables can have a null value, which means they are not initialized. Let's look at this example. Here, nullable string and nullable int are declared nullable, implying they can hold either a value or null. In addition, Dart can often infer the type of a variable, but you can also explicitly annotate types. Here are two examples illustrating type inference and annotations. In the first example, the var keyword does not specify the variable type explicitly. Instead, it is inferred as a string due to the variable's content, which is the string New York. However, the second example defines the variable with the keyword string, explicitly declaring its type as a string. To conclude, understanding the use of variables and data types is crucial for any Dart developer. Developers can leverage this foundational knowledge to build more complex and powerful applications. In this video, you learned that variables are like containers that hold data which can change over time. You can declare variables in Dart using the var, final, or const keywords. Common data types for variables include numbers, strings, booleans, lists, and maps. The two types of numbers in Dart are int for integers and double for floating point numbers. Strings represent a sequence of characters within single or double quotes. Booleans represent true or false values. Lists are ordered collections of items. Maps are collections of key-value pairs.